live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. Helping you win in any marketplace. That is the goal of our show. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. We're going to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Pull out your smartphone, save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372. 813-670-7372. That is our consumer advocate hotline. You can give us a call on that line or you can text us directly. And also, don't forget our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. All of our expert contributors' contact information is there. You can click on the contact form and submit an email directly through to myself and Anthony, our show producer. We're going to make sure we get right back to you before our head hits the pillow and make sure we get you whatever type of advice you're looking for. We love it. We've been having a lot of engagement from our listeners out there, just like you, calling, texting, emailing, and finding out more about how they get into home ownership, finding out, hey, I need some legal advice. Maybe you come into some money to invest. We've got safe money coaches. There's a lot of ways that we can help you here. Credit improvement. And just a lot of great partners here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we're giving a big shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill International Plaza in Tampa. And it's Italian cuisine, Italian menu, drinks, cozy atmosphere, bringing you the pleasures of the Tuscan Country Villa to Tampa, and located on West Shore Boulevard North, 2223 North West Shore Boulevard in Tampa. Check out our restaurant partner, Brio Tuscan Grill, at the International Plaza. All right, let's go around the horn now. This is Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. And Chelsie Lamie, personal injury trial attorney, welcome back in.
Hey, thanks, Brandon. So great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So you've been traveling a little bit. You're back in studio.
Back in, ready to get to work.
Awesome. Love it. Also, Shawn Yesner, attorney Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy and real estate attorney here in Tampa Bay. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me back. I thought we'd talk a little bit today. In addition to what Chelsie does, we tend to dovetail pretty well together with the two areas of law, but also a little bit maybe about debtor's prison.
Yeah, absolutely. Debtor's prison and personal injury law, real estate. We're going to sprinkle in some real estate there, some consumer advocate content. And also our feel-good story of the week is where a dog swims through Long Island Sound to rescue a baby deer. There's our Tell Me Something Good segment. And we want you guys to start thinking about this. Now, we got the top 10 highest paid American TV stars of all time. So that's going to be our top 10 today. Let's see where you guys stack up with that, with your, what do we call that, pop trivia maybe? Mm-hmm. I don't know. So, published author, professional speaker, we'd love for you to check out our book on Amazon. Become the MVP in your industry by surfing the radio waves. We're going to teach you how to start your own show, start your own podcast, potentially. Whatever you're looking to do, it's a great way to grow your sphere of influence in your industry is publishing your own book. And this just chapter of this book is here, and we're teaching you how to do that. Some exciting news coming up about the Inca deal with the major celebrity Hall of Famer and one of the major sports. He's going to helping us taking it to other markets. We're actually going to be syndicating our show model into other markets. So we're real excited about that. A lot of cool things. And let's jump right into it, helping you win in any marketplace. That is the goal of our show. And we're going to start you off here with a little bit of an audible. So we always start with a little personal development. So today we just want to talk about the power of focus and choosing what you focus on. How important is that? The number one thing you can do is you can control your focus, your mind. What are you investing time in? And the power of focus, where your energy flows, your focus, you're going to feel stronger. So where your energy flows, your focus is going to go. Everything's going to be based on that. So in one of my favorites, Tony Robbins, as you know, been to his business mastery course multiple times, been to a UPW event, Unleash Your Power Within. He's coming back in August, or maybe later in the year, November it is. He's coming back as well. But talking about ways that focusing your mind, right? So there's 3 states that you want to avoid. So a suffering state, anytime we feel some type of a suffering coming on, it comes through from one of 3 different areas. It's number 1 is loss, less, or never. So if you're going to think about loss, or hey, because I did something or I failed to take action, I'm going to have some type of a loss, conflict with a friend or a spouse, you want to immediately catch yourself and focus back on, what your Pareto's principle, the 20% rule, right? 80-20 rule. Less as well. If you ever think that you're going to have less of something, or maybe convinced that something or some event is going to cause you to have less, snap out of it, focus back on what you're going to help you win. And then number 3 is when you think about never. If you say the word never, you think about never, because this happened, I may never see that opportunity. You're doomed to fail. So don't let yourself fall into that loss, less, or never strategy. Power of focus is going to help you win in any marketplace. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Chelsie Lamie back in studio, personal injury trial attorney here, and let's see what's going on out there.
Oh, just a lot of rain this week. A lot of bad weather. That means you have to have your guard up. Be extra careful when you're driving. It's not you; it's everybody else out there, right?
That's right.
Make sure that you have the proper insurances in place to protect your family. Because if not, you're going to end up getting in some debt and some trouble. And I'm sure Shawn will help us out with that later. Just putting down the cell phones, putting down the devices, focusing your attention on the road, and trying to stay safe and be careful of the people out there who aren't doing those things.
Right. Yeah. Defensive driving is one of the things that, you want to think about and try to allow yourself to do that. But you can't do it when you're looking down at your phone. And I actually got caught up in it for a while back. I would be, it's just a quick text message. Oh, it's just a quick email. And I had one of those events happen where I almost caused an accident. It was it could have been a minor one. Thank God it didn't happen. Yep.
But I think we all think that we're invincible and we're smarter than the next guy, and it's not going to happen to us. But we're not, and it can.
Yeah.
And so that was a wake up call for me many years ago to put the phone down and just drive.
Yeah, it really is, and especially hey, it can wait till the next red light if you have to get something out. Especially with text messaging, it's like we're pulled, and if we don't respond fast enough, it's like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with that person.
Yeah, I think we just all need to get in the habit of telling people, oh, when I drive, my phone's in my purse, in the back seat, in the trunk, I turn it off, whatever you got to tell people so that they know, you're not going to get an instant response. And let's get real. We all survived how many decades without, without having to respond? I remember, college, I don't even think I had a cell phone, right? I think we had pagers. Oh, hold on. Can we edit that out? I don't want anybody to age me. Really, I just think we all need to get back to some basics and back to common sense and not really expect people to reply instantaneously.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you see the billboards out there. I mean, it looks like the Department of Transportation, some of these different organizations are doing their best, but unfortunately, that younger generation it's not falling on the right ears, right? It's not, and there are some really good programs and educational things out there, but I think until it happens to you or someone you know or you love, a lot of people aren't waking up and paying attention, and it's really sad. That's right.
It's funny. Billboards are the most interesting thing to me because they're trying to get your attention. Yeah. To say don't text and drive, but in the meantime, they're getting your attention, pulling you away from driving.
Good point, man.
It's the most. I don't understand.
Yeah, yeah. And you look at billboards now, and you look at marketing as a general. I remember Gary Vaynerchuk talking about this. Is if you're paying expensive dollars into billboards, look at what people are doing in their vehicle. They're either looking down at their phone, they're texting, tweeting, whatever they're doing on their phone. And they're not going to be looking up at that billboard.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. No, I don't do billboards. Do you do billboards?
I do not do billboards.
It's not my thing.
I think today billboards are more just a branding thing than anything else.
Yeah.
I don't think people are really getting business off a billboard. I think it's just continued branding.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's you see the branding out there now. Some of the advanced strategies are on Facebook, utilizing the video content, repurposing that content, and being real purposeful and intentful with the way that you're targeting. I think that's a big part of it.
I think so too. We have to be really cautious of our marketing dollars. I'm sure your listeners, they're small business owners or people who have positions of power within companies, and they know that every marketing dollar matters. So you really have to focus how you spend that and put that into something that's going to make an impact and not just sort of spread it all around willy-nilly.
Yeah. So Chelsie, you're a personal injury attorney here in Tampa Bay. You're also a trial attorney. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, anybody can handle a PI case, right? Your uncle, who's a real estate lawyer or a family lawyer, they can say, oh yeah, I can handle that for you. In my opinion, it's really important to get someone who has experience handling the PI case.
Right.
I wouldn't want to touch a real estate case. I wouldn't want to touch a bankruptcy case. I wouldn't want to touch a family law case because I'd mess it up. I don't know what I'm doing. All I've done for all of these years is personal injury. So that's what I really focus my practice on: just auto accidents, slip and falls. Really serious assaults, things like that in places of business. So that's what I do. And I also go to trial. You have a lot of attorneys out there who might say, I'm gonna get this case settled for you. Well, great. And some cases are meant to settle. Some cases aren't meant to settle, or at least are meant to be worked up right to the point of trial. And if you have an attorney who knows what they're doing, who files lawsuits every week. I know we have 10. We're actually filing 10 lawsuits this week.
Wow.
Who knows the experts to retain. Who knows the system, who knows how to pick a jury effectively. I've been to the Jerry Spence Trial Lawyers College out for 3 weeks in Wyoming. You have to have a lawyer who is going to really pull no punches and pull out all the stops and spend the money and work up the case and take it to trial, if not all the way to trial, or right before trial, in order to get the insurance company's attention so that they know they're dealing with somebody who is not going to settle for pennies on the dollar and who is going to get the true value of your case.
That's right. Yeah, because it's basically it's a battle. I mean, you're going into the courtroom. You're going to fight for your rights. You're going to fight for your money. You're recovering your doctor's bills. I mean, it's an actual fight.
It really is, and I don't think the average person understands that. And it's one of the things I really try to stress to the jurors is that today, let's say we're in trial, today is our only opportunity to speak with you. Today is our only opportunity. This trial is our only opportunity to get justice for my client. This condition can get progressively worse, and they're not going to be able to come back to you all, you nice folks, in 3 years and say, hey, thanks a lot for the $20,000 that you gave me, but now I need surgery, and that's going to be $80,000, and then I need physical therapy afterwards, and I'm going to miss work for 7 weeks.
Yep.
This is their one shot to get back everything they've lost and everything they need to make their future be what it would have been had somebody not been carelessly driving and injured them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk more about the specifics of that and how that rolls out in the actual courtroom, and more from Shawn Yesner as well, bankruptcy real estate attorney here. Chelsie Lamie as well, personal injury trial attorney here. Dog swims through Long Island Sound to rescue baby deer. And we're also going to have a fun top 10 list for you later today. Top 10 highest paid American TV stars coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay, top real estate agent, recently featured again in Florida Realtor Magazine, July issue of this year, recognized for our fanatical prospecting that was on the cover. So real excited about that. And giving a shout out to Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa. Are you looking for a place to get a massage or a facial at an affordable price and without having to sign up for membership? Look no further than Signature Massage and Facial Spa. They offer a 1-hour Swedish massage for $49.95, always no contracts, and come in early during the early bird hours and receive an additional $10 off. There you'll receive free professional massage at a great price and free muscles for those muscles and knots that need extra work. It's ask about getting a deep tissue or sports massage. And if skincare is what you're looking for, they have amazing facials, microderm packages. Check out Signature Massage and Facial Spa, 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa. And also you can schedule an appointment as well. And send us a message. We'll put you in contact as well. Signature Massage in Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, town and country area. And helping you win in any marketplace, that is the goal of our show. A couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. This 701 East Crenshaw property is a great buying opportunity, just reduced as well in the Harmony Heights subdivision. 701 East Crenshaw Street in Tampa. Seller is motivated on this property. Pool, fenced-in yard, great opportunity to purchase in beautiful Tampa Bay, as well as a beautiful property in Northeast St. Petersburg. It's going to be a pre-construction deal. 215 12th Avenue Northeast St. Petersburg. $1.29 million, 4 bedrooms, 5 bath, and it's going to be over 3,688 square feet under construction. Delivery date is September 1st for this beautiful property in St. Petersburg in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, Chelsie Lamie in studio today, trial attorney. Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy and real estate attorney here in Tampa Bay as well. So, Shawn, let's bring Shawn Yesner into the conversation here. So we're talking personal injury with Chelsie, and then Shawn, you're doing bankruptcy and real estate law. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, so a lot of the ways that it starts as a case with Chelsie and may find its way over to me is typically when someone's in a really bad accident, they don't have the money to pay their bills. They don't have the money to pay their invoices. Maybe they're out of work. Something like that's gone on. We need to be really careful with those types of people, though, because the first thing that you think is, well, I'll just file a bankruptcy and I'll eliminate all my debt. The problem there is the right to sue, the personal injury lawsuit, the potential to have this personal injury lawsuit is an asset of the bankruptcy estate. And so I've had plenty of personal injury attorneys call me up and say, hey, my client went to some bankruptcy attorney and now the trustee's telling me they're taking the personal injury case away from me. What's going on? So we need to be really careful. I mean, we've got the goal of helping this particular client get out of their debt and helping them get all these creditors off their back. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we're preserving the personal injury case so that the client can get the recovery that they're entitled to under the various personal injury laws that are available out there. So that's the balancing test that we have to do. I don't know, Chelsie, if you've had any cases swiped out from under you by the bankruptcy trustee or not.
No, I always tell my clients, don't file bankruptcy without talking to me, and we can usually work other things around before that has to go there.
Yeah, we can negotiate with creditors. There's ways that we can avoid filing a bankruptcy if we really need to. We get the personal injury judgment, we get everybody paid off. Then if bankruptcy is still an issue, we can look at it then.
Right.
But that's, I think, the biggest point in terms of where these two areas of law intersect is I agree with Chelsie. Don't come running. And one of the questions that I'll ask in a consultation, one of the questions the trustee will ask when we're in front of the trustee, do you have the right to sue anybody for any reason? And if they say yes, then let's explore that further and let's avoid filing a lawsuit and taking away something that you might have otherwise had.
Wow. Yeah, that's a major point to look at. So that would play out where they have an accident that's happened. They're talking about starting litigation. It hasn't got to litigation. It's still in the beginning steps of that.
Yep. Yeah. It would be that situation. I mean, sometimes I can then talk to the bankruptcy trustee and say, listen, bankruptcy trustee, we've already got an attorney on board. We've already got an attorney on board that knows the case. They know the facts. They've done the workup. Maybe they've gotten it filed. Maybe they've done this, that, the other thing. And most of the time, the bankruptcy trustee will say, okay. The bankruptcy trustee will then hire Chelsie to push the case on behalf of the bankruptcy estate. The difference there is if Chelsie gets a really good recovery, or when Chelsie gets a really good recovery for the injured party, a lot of that money would go to the bankruptcy estate, and it would be used to pay off creditors.
Right.
And then if there's any money left over, then the injured person gets that money back.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense then in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's communication. So, for your listeners out there that may be facing some of these situations, all it really comes down to is communication.
That's right.
Especially, I like when people, and I don't like it, but I see all the time where people get hesitant about talking to me, talking to their attorney. What they've got to remember is that what you tell us is confidential.
Right.
Whether you hire us or not. Even if someone comes into my office and we have a consultation and they tell me they air all their dirty laundry and then they leave and they never pay me a penny and they never hire me, that's still a confidential conversation. I can't repeat that to anybody.
Yeah. I bet you heard some good dirty laundry too.
I've had my share of dirty, and apparently now so does Chelsie.
Okay.
I have literal dirty laundry.
Yeah, long trip.
I should be home doing laundry.
So if you want to reach out, we'd love to hear from you as well. That's the goal of our show, is having you engage us at 813-670-7372. Give us a call on our hotline or shoot a text message. Real quick text, 813-670-7372. And that's 670-REQB is the acronym there. And also consumerqb.com. Just submit the form at consumerqb.com. And that way we can get you in touch with two of the best attorneys here in Tampa Bay. We've got Chelsie in the house. She's a trial attorney, personal injury law. We've got Shawn Yesner as well, bankruptcy and real estate law as well. So, Chelsie, let's go back to you now.
Sure.
So, what else are you seeing out there? I mean, you look at personal injury, it's kind of a wide variety of potentialities there, slip and falls, auto accidents. What are you looking for?
My main focuses are helping families that have been really injured, people who've been injured as a result of car accidents, serious slip and falls, things where you've had to have surgery, or there's been a death. I unfortunately just had a case recently where somebody slipped and fell, had a head injury, and passed away. So serious slip and falls, and of course, any sort of negligent security. I do a lot of crime victim work. So when people, let's say a young woman checks into a hotel, and the hotel, it's maybe a room on the first floor, and they know or should know that they have a broken lock on that window, and instead of fixing it, they don't really get around to it. The young woman goes to bed, and she wakes up, she's being assaulted in the middle of the night. So that's not something where it's just a criminal action against the potential, the assailant. It's also a civil action, a potential civil action against the hotel that can be brought by the young woman because she was not protected in a way that she should have been. They should have working locks on windows in hotels. Right. So those are the types of cases I take, any type of sexual assault, even shootings. I often represent young people who are injured in nightclub shootings or shootings that happen in parking lots or in streets in front of nightclubs. Wow. You just can't kick out rowdy people from your nightclub if you're a nightclub owner. You have to follow the industry standard, and that's to separate, call the police, have the police take them away. When you just open your doors and kick out brawling people, you're creating a bigger mess by having the brawl continue outside and now potentially involve other people.
Wow.
So those are mainly the cases that I focus on. Obviously, it's all personal injury. I don't know if you know, Brandon, I used to be an insurance adjuster for years. So I was an insurance adjuster working for the insurance companies. Then I became an insurance defense lawyer. So I was defending, the nightclubs and the people who were texting and driving, causing these injuries. And then I finally flipped over about 7 or so years ago to exclusively representing injured people. So that's all my office is devoted to.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. That opens it up a lot in your mind as a listener out there. If you've had this situation happen, or those are things to kind of think about and look at it. And yeah, it makes sense when you think about there's a fight inside the club, just kick them out. Now they're just going to take it outside and it's going to get worse. There's no supervision, so to speak, there. Right. So we'll dive deeper in some of those. We'll also talk more we're going to talk more about bankruptcy bankruptcy law, real estate attorney. Shawn Yesner as well. Talking about this debtor's prison. There's no debtor's prison in the United States. It's a way that you can actually protect your assets through these different types of situations, and more from our expert contributors, as well as dog swims through Long Island Sound to rescue baby deer. Interesting story in our Tell Me Something Good segment, and more from our expert contributors. Do not touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, helping you win in any marketplace. Giving a shout out to Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet. Meal plan starting at $90 a week. Optimal fuel, optimal performance, provided by Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet. Organic veggies, natural proteins delivered fresh 3 times a week to your home or office. And I love it when Monday, Wednesday, Friday roll around. I got a brand new meal package there, and it's awesome foods, and it's teasing the taste buds. You never know what to expect there from Healthy Gourmet. We really appreciate that. And also giving a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. We're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace. Personal injury trial lawyer Chelsie Lamie in the house. Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy and real estate attorney as well, here with me today. Dog swims through Long Island Sound to rescue baby deer coming up, as well as our top 10 highest paid American television stars. So let's see where we can stack up there. We got the top 10 in action today on the Quarterback Show. A couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. 422 Park Street South in St. Petersburg. This just hit the market in that south part of St. Pete. It's literally 1 block away from the water in the Bay there at 422 Park Street South, St. Petersburg, $339,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. And it is a nice renovation job on the inside as well. You got to check out that beautiful kitchen, as well as another great property here in the Town and Country area, 10616 Cape Hatteras Drive in Tampa. It's Palm Bay. It's a gated community within a gated community, 4 bedrooms, 2 and 1/2 bath. Just reduced as well. We reduced this down to $382,000 for a Mediterranean 4-bedroom, 2.5 pool home on a conservation lot. Great buying opportunity here from Platinum MVP Realty. And we want to make sure you save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it, 813-670-7372. Shoot a call or a text message over to 813-670-7372. And we are looking for expert contributors as well. If you're a business owner out there and want to see if you could interview for an opportunity on our show, we would love to hear from you as well. You can also submit the form at consumerqb.com. consumerqb.com. All right, so we're back here in studio. Shawn Yesner, let's talk a little bit about this debtor's prison. There's the absence of a debtor's prison in the United States is one thing that makes us great.
Yeah, and so the reason that I started thinking about this topic is listening to other people's podcasts, and there's a couple of historical podcasts, and so that got me to thinking about the history of debtor's prison. And so I'll be doing a lot more in terms of blogs, my own podcast, all that stuff, talking about it. But where I started my research and I saw that a lot of people got confused about debtor's prison is that there's still people being arrested for what they perceive to be a failure to pay the debt. Mm-hmm. You can't be arrested for not paying a debt. What'll typically happen is the judge will issue an order that the debtor has to comply with they have to provide information to the creditor. They have to provide what's called a fact information sheet once the judgment's entered. So they have to give their name, their number, their social security number, their address, where do they work, who are they married to, what kind of car do they drive, all this information. If they don't provide that information, they've now not complied with a court order, so they're in contempt of court, and that's why they would be arrested.
Contempt of court, that's the one you don't want to get.
Right. So they're not being arrested for not paying their debts.
Right.
They're being arrested for not complying with the judge's order.
Right.
But so we still go back to the basic concept of there is no such thing. When all the ancestors floated over the pond from England, they decided we're getting rid of debtor's prison. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting, the more I researched it, debtor's prison, what it used to be was sort of like a way to pay off the debt when you couldn't pay off the debt. So if you were indebted to somebody who owned a farm, you had to work the farm until you worked enough to pay off your debt to the person that owned the farm. Or do some other type of service or provide something else in order to repay your debt. That's what was meant by debtor's prison, because obviously if I owe you a debt and I get thrown in jail and I'm not making money, how am I going to pay back the debt?
Yeah, you can't. You're not going to be generating income to pay it off.
Right. So it was really just a way of helping people or forcing people to work off their debt is what it originally started as. But then when we the founding fathers formed the United States, they wrote the bankruptcy code into the Constitution. So now the right to file bankruptcy is a constitutionally protected right, and that eliminated basically debtor's prison. So we still have the basic rule: you can't go to prison for failure to pay a debt, even a debt to the IRS, even a debt to the federal government. You can't go to prison for failing to pay back that debt.
And when you look at the folks that have lined up to file bankruptcy, even our president has filed bankruptcy through his companies. You got 50 Cent, the rapper 50 Cent. Michael Jackson reportedly signed a $1 billion contract at one point in his lifetime. And then, so when the money comes, the money flows. And unfortunately, you end up in a position where bankruptcy might be an option. How does someone know that there might be an option for them there?
Well, I think it's all mindset, because you talked about mindset at the beginning and focus. And I think part of the problem is when people get a lot of money and they're not in a mindset to save that money, invest that money. So they get a lot of money, they spend a lot of money, and then they find themselves in bankruptcy.
That's right.
What I've always said is really the amount of debt you have doesn't matter. Do you have more debt than you can afford to pay back over some short period of time? So somebody who has $30,000 worth of debt, well, if they make $42,000 a year, then they probably have more debt than they can afford to repay. Somebody who makes $300,000 a year, $30,000 of debt is a couple of months of savings, and they've paid it off.
Right.
So you may not need to file. Are you, the way I've said it, are you using a bazooka to kill a fly?
Right.
You may not need to file.
Yeah.
It's all based on circumstances. What type of income do you have? What type of assets do you have? The whole trick to filing bankruptcy is, do we have enough to protect the assets that you have? In that case, bankruptcy is probably a good idea.
Yeah. So, Shawn, also it comes into play with real estate as well. There's there's still some properties out there that didn't get kind of shaken out during the whole, the 08, 09, kind of that whole recession. So now there's still some homeowners that are saying, hey, man, I thought my property values would have come back up. The bank may have gave them a loan modification that may not, looking back on it now, may not be as favorable as they thought. A lot of decisions to make, a lot of options if you're in that position.
Yeah, the thing to remember about real estate, if you're dealing with real estate, what's your goal? To keep or get rid of the house? If your goal is to keep the house, then we're still talking about a modification. There was a rules change here in the Tampa Bay area, and you can file bankruptcy and use the bankruptcy court to work a modification of the mortgage. So we can still use a Chapter 13, a payment plan bankruptcy, to save somebody's house. But otherwise, typically, if you're looking at bankruptcy and you have a house, we're probably talking about a Chapter 7, and we're probably talking about getting rid of the liability on the house. Not necessarily, Florida is still a lien theory state. So you own the house, the bank has a lien on it. The only way to get rid of that house is to sell it or have the bank foreclose on it, or maybe the tax collector or someone like that. But in Florida, you own your house, the bank has a lien on it. The only way to get rid of it is to sell it or let it get foreclosed on. Bankruptcy will eliminate the obligation to pay back the bank, the obligation to pay back the government on a forgiveness of debt issue. That's what bankruptcy does.
Yeah, it wipes it clean on if it's a 7, if it's a 13, it's repayment plan. Right. So Attorney Shawn Yesner here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out with your questions. We would love to hear from you and engage you. That's our number one goal here. We have a QAA formula with this show. You're going to have questions as listeners. We're going to provide you answers, but we want you to take it a step further and give you these action items. So all you have to do is pull out your smartphone, shoot us a call at 813-670-7372. If someone you know or love may be in debt, you want to reach out, and we would love to put you in contact with Attorney Shawn Yesner here. 813-670-7372. Call or text that line. And, Shawn, you also have the Crushing Debt podcast, episode number 79 coming up or something?
71, I think, comes out on Thursday.
Nice. Very cool.
So, yeah.
So you're building it up.
Building the brand. And the podcast is a lot of the same stuff that I'm talking about here on the show. How do we get rid of our creditors? How do we eliminate those financial bullies that are calling us? So, yeah. I'm having fun doing it. I'm no stranger to having a microphone in my face.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and you do a great job with it. And I always think about whenever we talk about the debt, I want to follow it up with some type of an action item. So we talk about having people engage with us, but we also think about William Crowley, the credit magician, or other credit improvement agencies out there. There's a way that you can come out of these things on the other side, and you're going to be very clean within 6 to 8 months, a year.
Yeah. I think people's biggest fear once we figure out, okay, we're going to get the creditors off your back, you're not going to owe anybody any money, their next question is, well, what about my credit? And I like to take it in that order, because if there's really no way to get you out of debt and keep your credit up unless you pay off all the debt.
Right.
So, typically within a couple of years. So whenever I discharge a client in bankruptcy, I send out a letter with a couple of different credit repair companies on there that I recommend. Crowley is one of them. He does a really good job getting rid of credit. And it's not necessarily getting rid of the bankruptcy, getting rid of the debt. It's more the impact of that stuff on your credit. And so what I found is typically 2 to 3 years after a bankruptcy discharge, people can buy houses again.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'm hearing more and more from Mario Larea, Home First Lending, Jason Brooks with eMortgage Management, Delbro Mortgage. They're talking about a lot of these lending programs coming back that are going to be, a little bit more opened up to these types of situations. So
yeah, we need to be careful. We don't want to open them up too much and then start that backslide into what we just recovered from.
Yeah, we don't want that for sure.
But
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, stay with us on the other side of the break. We're going to have a lot of fun for you. We're going to do our top 10. We're going to have the top 10 highest paid American television stars, as well as our feel-good story. And we'd love to engage you as well. So consumerqb.com is our website. Make sure you reach out at consumerqb.com. And we're going to come back into our lightning round as well. So a lot of great content coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, helping you win in any marketplace. Got an open house this weekend, this Saturday at 5208 East Longboat Boulevard in Tampa and Bayside West Subdivision. 5 bedrooms, 3 and 1/2 bath property at 5208 East Longboat Boulevard. We got an open house Saturday, 11 to 2, actually. We'd love to see you there. $846 is the list price. Bay access for this gorgeous Mediterranean mansion, beautiful property here in Tampa here. Check it out, consumerqb.com. All of our listings are there as well. All right, so in studio today with me, I've got Chelsie Lamie, personal trial attorney, Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy and real estate attorney, and we're going to talk about some interesting stories coming up. But there was some crossover potential here, right, Shawn? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about during the break was where people may not be good referrals for Chelsie. And one of the things that I wanted her to talk about, one of the things that I understand because I'm an attorney, I'm in the industry, but a lot of people don't understand, is the importance of having uninsured motorist protection and what that does in a personal injury lawsuit.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, well, at least 25% of drivers on our Florida roads have no bodily injury insurance. That means they're driving out there completely bare if they injure you or your family. So what happens if you don't have uninsured motorist coverage and you're hit by one of these people that are, the 25% or more that have no BI? Now you're out of work, you're injured, you're accumulating medical bills, you're not getting your salary, and the person who hit you has nothing and has no insurance. If you don't have the uninsured motorist, you're going to be in a situation really fast where you're going to need bankruptcy, where you're going to need to call on Shawn.
Wow.
So that is an unfortunate overlap in our businesses, is that when there's insurance, everything's going to usually work out okay.
Right.
Or the best they can given the circumstances. But when you don't have uninsured motorist coverage and the person who hit you doesn't have BI, that's where you get in trouble fast, which is why I'm always telling your listeners, Brandon, to please check your policy. You might think you have full coverage. I promise you probably don't. Talk to your agent. Make sure you have uninsured motorist. You want to have it, and you want to have it in the most you can afford, and you want to have it stacked if you have more than one vehicle.
Stack it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, Gary Halleck, We Insure, is our expert contributor in that space. So yeah, that's a great point. The uninsured motorist, and it's one of those things where you're just kind of at the mercy of whoever's driving out there on the roads. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our Feel Good segment of the week, our Tell Me Something Good segment here coming up for you.
Tell me something good.
All right, dog swims through Long Island Sound to rescue baby deer. Dogs aren't just man's best friend, but they are deer too. A dog in Long Island jumped into the Sound body of water between Connecticut and Long Island to rescue a young deer stuck in the water. Storm just plunged into the water. He started swimming out to the pond, grabbed it by the neck, and started swimming to shore. The dog's owner, Mark Freely, told the CBS New York station. Freely said after the initial rescue, the deer ran back in the water, presumably frightened by the storm ordeal. Let's see. It goes on to read that the deer was carried to the rescue van. It was reported covered in ticks and sustained an eye injury, but it's resting at local animal rescue until it's recovered. Did you guys hear about that one?
I missed it, but I'm pulling it up right now.
Does it say in the story what kind of dog, what breed of dog it was?
I don't think it does. Huh. You guys see the video? I think you saw the video, right? Oh, Cocker Spaniel.
It's like a little white fluffy dog. Is what I'm pulling up right now on my phone.
There you go. Well, that's cool, man. That's your feel good story. All right, let's see if we can do a little guessing game with you guys. You want to play a little guessing game here? Top 10.
Let's do it.
All right, top 10 highest paid American TV stars of all time. So let's see.
My first guess.
Jump in.
My first guess would be any of the actors from Friends.
That's who I wrote down.
Yeah.
They all banded together.
Number 7 on the list, the actors, I guess they put them all together. It says $1 million each episode of Friends. At the end of the famous series in 2004, the cast was getting a salary of $1 million per episode, which means that each chapter of the 10th season cost $6 million just for its protagonists.
Wow.
So Jennifer Aniston, Schwimmer, Matthew Perry, Courtney Cox, Matt
We're in
LeBlanc.
the wrong business, Shawn.
Yeah.
So
We need to start taking acting classes.
maybe I can get the podcast up to $1 million an episode.
There you go. That'd be nice. There's a nice goal.
Yeah. What
All right,
about the Big Bang
else?
Theory?
Yeah, that's popular. See, that's the thing is,
What's
is it
his
now
name?
or is it old? Is it current shows? Is it old
Oh, actually,
shows?
yeah, number 8 right here.
Big
yeah,
Bang
Johnny
Theory?
Galecki, Kaylee,
Keiko or
Kuko, and Jim Parsons. $1 million each episode of The Big Bang Theory. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be more recent shows because they didn't pay that kind of money back when we were watching MASH.
Right,
And Perry Mason.
You ever hear like the old football players and baseball players are like, yeah, I used to make $35,000 a year or $60,000 a year. Now these, that's the league minimum is what? I mean,
League minimum's like what, 300,000,
Something like
200,000,
that.
something in that range.
it's got to be.
Poor
Yeah. So you look at the time value of money, right? Inflation.
Well, if it's going to be recent, I wasn't a huge fan, but I know my parents watched Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh yeah,
There's a Ray Romano
I used to
guy.
love that one.
Is he on there?
Yeah, number 2 on the list.
Thanks,
number 2
Mom and
on
Dad.
the list. Yeah. So Ray Romano, $1.8 million each episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. The comedian and main actor of Everybody Loves Raymond got $1.8 million per episode during the last season of the series. All right, so number one. Who can guess number 1?
I was
The
thinking,
only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
really him, Sheen?
Charlie Sheen, number 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's that show?
2.5 Men, I guess.
Men, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
2.5 Men. Oh, here we go. Yeah, 2.5 Men. 1.8 per episode during last season of 2.5 Men, plus $2 million per episode of Anger Management as episode 100. He was the highest paid actor during that time.
Are they all sitcom stars, or then are there any like Ryan Seacrest or game show hosts? Any of those guys?
These are all sitcoms, TV shows. So
wow,
that's where the money is, I guess.
So let's round it out for you here. Number 10, Andrew Lincoln, $650,000 of each of The Walking Dead. Number 9, Ashton Kutcher, $755,000 each episode of 2.5 Men. After Charlie Sheen was fired from 2.5 Men, Kutcher was paid $755 per episode for his role as Heizo Walden in the series.
Nice savings by the show producers.
Yeah, right. Let's see here. So number 8, Johnny Galecka. We talked about that one. 7, Jennifer Aniston. We talked about it. Number 6, Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. $1 million for each episode of Mad About You.
Wow. That show was on a while ago.
That was a long time ago. I loved that.
Yeah. Number 5, got a group of folks here. Game of Thrones. $1.1 million each episode. Peter Dinklage, Nikolai, long name there, and Kit Harington. Number 4 is Tim Allen, $1.25 million each episode.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. That's right. And then number 3, Kelsey Grammer, $1.6 million for each episode of Frasier.
Yeah.
I used to watch that one. That was a good one. So Ray Romano, Charlie Sheen. So yeah, there's your top 10. A lot of fun there, helping you win here. Let's talk about the lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning round.
All right. Lightning round here. Top tips, things to do, things to avoid, nuggets of advice. Chelsie, you're up first.
Well, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say go get uninsured motorist coverage, right? Sitting here next to the bankruptcy and real estate attorney. You have got to protect your family. Nobody else is going to protect your family. Pull out your deck page tonight when you get home.
Yep.
Look at it. You want to be looking for 2 initials, UM or UIM, or it's going to say uninsured motorist coverage. Again, make sure you have it. Make sure you have it stacked, and make sure you have it in the highest amount that your family's budget will allow. And if you don't see UM on your deck page, you don't have it. And it's imperative that you reach out to your insurance carrier and or your agent immediately and get that added immediately.
Yeah, excellent. I like that one. Shawn Yesner.
I think if you're looking at filing bankruptcy, if you might want to file bankruptcy, pull a free credit report. Let's see exactly who your creditors are, how much you owe, what your your account numbers, all that kind of stuff, so that we can make the bankruptcy petition as complete as possible. So you get one free credit report a year. Go ahead and take advantage of it if bankruptcy is an option.
Yeah. Look at the credit, find out what's on there. Look at, take a hard look at your income potential, and then also analyze, hey, are you allocating certain monies toward a retirement plan? Are you putting money into that space? Or is it, what you're earning going out, and then now, 10, 15, 20 years down the road when it's time to retire, you're sitting there with no nest egg. You can't operate. Your body's kind of, not the same position it was 20 years ago. So you're going to be in a worse position. So, think about all those factors. We have a great safe money coach associated with the show as well. Michael Lysenko, he's our safe money coach, Safe Money Solutions as well. So we can help you with a lot of different areas. And I want to thank all of our expert contributors today. Great job, Chelsie. Shawn, great job. You guys bring a lot of knowledge to the listeners out there, so we really appreciate that. Helping the consumers win, understanding these different areas of personal injury law, bankruptcy law, real estate law. Definitely love having the legal brains in the studio with us today. So thank you very much. I want to thank all the folks behind the scenes as well, putting the deal together here, helping you win. Thank all of our listeners and viewers out there. Remind you to check out WeBeam TV and our website, consumerqb.com. You can see our television version of the show here at consumerqb.com. Click on that live stream link, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up leftover food you may have, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, handing it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good in the community. Go out there and donate more, be involved. Maybe you got some leftover clothes that you haven't worn in a while. Donate those to your local churches and food banks, and be a force for good in the community. Continue to tune into the Quarterback Show every day, helping you win in any marketplace. ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM AM 1380. The Biz.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.